Mitt Romney has turned on the charm during his visit to Britain by questioning the country's ability to host the Olympic Games.
But the message that he wanted to get out from this trip has been obscured.
If he's here to make friends, he's got a funny way of showing it.
Oh, my goodness. I am even sorry for Mitt Romney. His trip to Europe was designed to showcase his statesmanship, his ability to command respect on the international stage. And then Mitt Romney opened his mouth. So I guess I really ain't that sorry. First, he insulted the British on their own turf. Then he publicly acknowledged meeting with the head of MI6, the international arm of the British Secret Service, something Romney was supposed to keep to himself. Romney also managed to snub the American press corps. And he was publicly mocked by the mayor of London in front of tens of thousands of people. The gaffe-filled trip has prompted one conservative here at home to compare him to Mr. Bean. And while one of Romney's advisors claims the presidential candidate intends to fully honor the special relationship between the U.S. and the U.K., you'd never guess that by reading Romney's book, No Apology. Quote, England is just a small island, he wrote. Its roads and houses are small. With few exceptions, it doesn't make things that the rest of the world wants to buy. And if it hadn't been separated from the continent by water, it almost certainly would have been lost to Hitler's ambitions. Wow. Joining me now is Evan McMorris-Santoro, reporter for Talking Points Memo. Evan, his book is called No Apology, yet he spent much of today apologizing, then apologizing, then apologizing. Yeah. So how bad is it?
Well, you know, that depends on who you ask. I think that one thing is clear, though. Mitt Romney in England was able to find gaffes where no one thought gaffes were possible. This trip out to England, you know, it's supposed to be a chance for Romney to show off his ability, you know, his past is running the Olympics, which is a great part of his resume, if you ask him, and a great part of his biography, if you ask him and his supporters. And also going to England is it's a big American ally. It's a strong American ally. It's a place for him to go and, you know, show off his ability to talk to world leaders. You know, obviously he's run by conservatives that are, you know, more in line with him. Those are some of the people that were calling him out today, Boris Johnson that you showed and David Cameron specifically. But in terms of the effects back here, the main effect so far today has been that he was able to, by gaffing the way he has and sort of stumbling around the way he did in England, he was able to give Democrats a way in to attack him, and attack him they did. Foreign policy experts said, you know, if he can't handle talking about the Olympics, how can he handle talking to China? And, you know, just on the way over here in the car, I saw Harry Reid told the Huffington Post that, you know, Romney is in real trouble and he's embarrassing himself, and it's, you know, it shows he's listening to his staff too much and not listening to himself, and just sort of just kind of attacking him over and over for this being a gaffe.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not just the, you know, left or the liberals who are getting on his gaffe-filled performance over in the UK. Even conservatives are in disbelief over Romney's Olympic flub. Here's Charles Krauthammer.
What Romney answered in that question is unbelievable. It's beyond human understanding. It's incomprehensible. I'm out of adjectives. All the man has to do is say nothing.
He's exhausted the adjectival descriptions of Charles Krauthammer. How does the Romney team spin that?
Well, today what they did was they had Bobby Jindal and Bob McDonnell, two governors, one Jindal from Louisiana, McDonnell from Virginia, two big Romney surrogates and potential vice presidential choices. They had a press conference call today, and they were asked, you know, what does this mean? What's happening? And their basic answer was it doesn't matter, that the American people don't care about foreign press. They don't care what people say. And, you know, the concerns of the United States are what's more important, and the foreign stuff doesn't matter. What's interesting about that, of course, is it kind of undermines the entire reason for Romney to go overseas. I mean, you mentioned that his trip was a lot about sort of bolstering himself up, but another part of his trip, and a key part of his trip, was also showing where Republicans, and Romney specifically, has said that Obama has failed in foreign policy. And they definitely think that the way the foreign press and foreign leaders look at the United States are important. But they come back after some bad headlines for their guy, and they say, no, none of this is important, doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, it's the economy still, it's the domestic issues that are important. Pay no attention to the trip.
Yeah, how convenient. And if the foreign press ain't so important, why do they give out the Golden Globes every year? Look, is this a sneak peek at how Romney would handle foreign affairs?
Well, like I said, I think that's up to experts to determine at this point. I think that if you ask those Democrats that were on that conference call today, Wesley Clark was one of them, Chris Murphy, who was one of the first Iraq war veterans to serve in the Congress, a Democrat in Congress. He definitely said that it was. He said, look, this is predictable. This is what Romney's going to be like. If he can't handle the Olympics, he can't handle China. He can't handle Iran. He can't handle these big events. This is a pretty easy. You had Krauthammer on saying what he said, and Reid said the same thing. Harry Reid said the same thing. This is generally a pretty easy idea, a pretty easy thing for a politician to do, is just sort of praise the Olympics and move on.
Yeah, you got to be pretty smart to mess that up. Evan McMorris Santoro, thank you so very much.
Thanks.
Next, the Romney advisor says President Obama can't fully understand the special relationship between the United States and Britain because he can't appreciate the shared Anglo-Saxon heritage. Hear the implications there? Keith Boykin will join me to discuss those comments. And our panel will weigh in on Mitt's rainy London day. Stay tuned.